fear, and doubt are a burden too heavy to bear.
Remember this. You are not alone.
Rated M for mature.
Sony and Santa Monica Studio were reportedly set to reveal the God of War Ragnarok release date on June 30th before this announcement was supposedly delayed. While no official reason was ever given, many believed it tied to the recent and controversial decision by the Supreme Court to overturn Roe v. Wade. Many were understandably upset by the delayed announcement, for whatever reason it was supposedly delayed. Indeed, Cory Barlog said fans would get this information as soon as Sony and Santa Monica were ready, and now it seems the companies were ready to show this off. God of War Ragnarok received a new cinematic, clocking in at a short 30 seconds. It includes some dialogue between Atreus and Kratos, as well as the reveal of a big wolf, maybe Fenrir or another one from Helheim, which we will get into later. In Norse mythology, Fenrir is one of the children of Loki, so it'll be interesting to see how it shakes out. However, packed in this short clip too is the release date. God of War Ragnarok releases November 9th for PS4 and PS5. It's easily the most anticipated game of the year, and we know now when Ragnarok is set to arrive. The inclusion of Fenrir here is an enticing tease for the franchise. As many who have seen God of War's ending, it's heavily implied that Atreus' real name may actually be Loki. This is interesting because not only is the world serpent the child of Loki in mythology, explained in the game as the world serpent being set backward in time at Ragnarok, but so is Fenrir. To see Kratos and Atreus face the giant wolf in this cinematic is exciting and bodes well for the game. The trailer features Kratos on a frosty battlefield, surrounded by hordes of enemies that he is fighting off. He is armed with his shield and his Leviathan axe, and though he may appear overpowered at times, he manages to hold his ground. At his side is Atreus, who looks a bit older than he was in 2018's God of War, but still carries his bow and arrows. With Kratos and Atreus standing side by side, the trailer suggests that the two will still be a tight team, even if they are dealing with bigger challenges than ever before. Toward the end of the trailer, Kratos and Atreus face a humongous black dog that towers over them. Not much more is revealed about the canine because the trailer ends there. Norse mythology suggests that the dog shown is Fenrir, a terrible, bloodthirsty wolf. According to myth, the dog is the child of the giantess Angrboda and the trickster god Loki. Witnessing how large Fenrir grows and how powerful he is, the gods decide to chain the wolf, but Fenrir bites off the hand of the god Tyr. During Ragnarok, Fenrir kills the god Odin, but this earns the wolf the ire of Odin's son, Vidar, who seeks revenge and kills Fenrir. The enigmatic wolf features prominently in Norse mythology due to its mystique and its power. Fenrir's appearance poses many questions, and it means God of War's story could go several ways. The most obvious direction is that Fenrir could be one of the enemies that Kratos and Atreus face. This would not be unexpected as, throughout the God of War franchise, Kratos has gone up against foes of epic scale, including some that would dwarf Fenrir. However, if Santa Monica follows Norse mythology closely, Fenrir could also turn out to be a companion. This is because Atreus shares very close connections to Norse mythology's Loki, as is revealed in 2018's God of War. Atreus discovers that his mother had originally named him Loki, although Kratos ultimately gave him the name he now uses. Atreus' connection to Loki could see him taming Fenrir and ultimately having the wolf fight on his side during Ragnarok. Evidence that Fenrir may be on Atreus' side also comes from the fact that Angrboda appears in God of War Ragnarok. Although not much is known about her yet, she was shown in a positive light, smiling, which suggests that she will be a friendly figure in the game. If, as is the case in Norse mythology, Angrboda has some connection to Fenrir, she could help bring the wolf over to their side. However, it should be noted that God of War has been quite liberal with its mythological inspirations in the past, and it could decide to veer far away from the Norse mythology it draws from. Interestingly, on YouTube, the description attached to the trailer tells gamers that God of War will continue Kratos and Atreus' mythic journey and that the Eyes of Asgard will watch their every move. Asgard, in Norse mythology, refers to the dwelling place of the gods, including great figures such as Odin. The Eyes of Asgard mostly likely refers to Heimdall, who serves as the watcher who stays on the lookout for Ragnarok, and also the two ravens of Odin which were in the beginning of the trailer. He lives in Himinjorg, which is on the border of Asgard, where the Rainbow Bridge hits the heavens. Heimdall is a lover of mead, and he is armed with a sword. When Ragnarok comes, Heimdall will blow his horn, the Mjolnir horn, to signal its arrival. If Heimdall makes an appearance, it raises a lot of questions. As is the case with the wolf Fenrir, one has to wonder whether Heimdall will be a friend or a foe. If Heimdall is a friend, he could prove to be a great asset for Kratos and Atreus because he is a wise god who is said to possess foresight and very good hearing and sight. However, if Heimdall is a foe, he could prove to be a dangerous obstacle, especially if he is assisting the gods who conspire against Kratos and Atreus. Either way, he is likely to be a significant influence in the game. During the trailer, Kratos and Atreus do a slight bit of narration, ending with the declaration that you are not alone. There have been some theories about how Kratos and Atreus' relationship will play out in God of War Ragnarok, but the trailer suggests that they will be fighting alongside each other and that their relationship will be stronger than ever. However, it is worth noting that it could also be some clever misdirection meant to lead gamers off the trail of the game's true plot. With God of War Ragnarok's release date finally revealed, gamers should feel a lot more excited about the upcoming game. Hopefully, it will answer several burning questions while providing a satisfying closing to Kratos and Atreus' Norse mythology adventures. In just a few months, we will finally unravel Fenrir's secrets and discover whether the wolf will be petted or pulverized. With God of War Ragnarok set to come out this year, players have been anxious to know when exactly Santa Monica Studio plans on finally releasing this highly anticipated title. Now, a PlayStation blog post has answered that question, hopefully quelling the overexcitement among God of War fans, while also showing off the special items available in each of the game's editions. This reveal took the form of a video starring Ryan Hurst, the actor providing the voice and motion capture for Thor in God of War Ragnarok, and Santa Monica Studio art director Rafael Grassetti. In addition to showing off the digital and physical merch that fans will be able to get their hands on, the original blog post also revealed the release date for God of War Ragnarok. The first interesting note about the two tiers of physical editions, the Collector's Edition and the Jotnar Edition, is the box that it all comes in, designed after the Knowledge Keeper shrines found in God of War Ragnarok. Additionally, each edition will come with several figurines, such as the Vanir twins carvings and sets of dice that are specific to the Collector's and Jotnar versions. Then there is the content from the Digital Deluxe Edition, including armor and weapons for Kratos and Atreus, all being available in the higher-tiered collections. However, the crown jewel for most fans will likely be the 16-inch Mjolnir replica, which surprisingly comes with either of these physical collections. As for the major differences between the Collector's and Jotnar editions, this comes down to a few key items only available in the top-tier set. These items include a falcon, bear, and wolf pin set, a vinyl record, a cloth map, and a ring that holds a special significance in Norse mythology. Altogether, the Jotnar edition seems to have a bit more going for it, although with both housing the Mjolnir replica and Knowledge Keeper shrine, the contents of either of God of War Ragnarok's Collector's editions might suit fans just fine. Either of these two editions would add some impressive pieces to any fan's collection. Between the Knowledge Keeper shrine and the Mjolnir replica and the pin set, cloth map, or Draupnir ring is valuable items for anyone looking to add any of them to their collection. The map for one shows off a brilliant depiction of Yggdrasil and how God of War's 9 realms all connect and intersect with each other. It's one of many impressive pieces for those interested enough in the franchise or even Norse mythology in general. While the launch edition of God of War Ragnarok comes with some digital bonuses, it's the Collector's Edition and Jotnar Edition that fans are going to flock to buy when pre-orders open on July 15th. Though the Collector's Edition offers some great physical pack-ins, the Jotnar Edition has all of those and more, being the ultimate God of War Ragnarok package. Official prices haven't been confirmed just yet, but fans can expect to shell out at least a couple $100 for the Jotnar Edition. However, there are a few little details that can be gleaned without spending a single dollar. God of War Ragnarok's Jotnar Edition reveals a few key pieces of information about the upcoming game's story, starting with the name itself, which is the Norse word for giant, a race which will clearly play quite a vital role in the game's story. The Jotnar Edition's physical goodies all come packaged inside a box, beautifully decorated with a golden artwork designed to represent the Knowledge Keeper's shrine. This Knowledge Keeper is the giant sorceress Groa, who Kratos and Atreus learn of in 2018's God of War. This giant seer was the first to have a vision of Asgard's destruction, the titular event, Ragnarok. With this shrine having such a prominent presence in the Jotnar edition, it could be possible that Kratos will end up running into Groa in God of War Ragnarok, as it may feature some time travel. Opening up the Knowledge Keeper's shrine will reveal a whole host of physical bonuses, one of which is a pin set of a falcon, bear and wolf. The imagery of these three animals repeats throughout God of War, representing Faye, the falcon, Kratos, the bear, and Atreus, the wolf. The bear and wolf symbols can also be found on the Jotnar edition steelbook display case. Based on the trailers released so far, and the story laid out in 2018's God of War, it seems as though family is once again the central theme of the series alongside Ragnarok. The Jotnar edition of God of War Ragnarok also comes with a replica of the Draupnir ring, which holds a prominent place in Norse mythology as Odin's personal ring, which has the ability to multiply itself every 9th night. Fans are likely already well aware that some more Norse gods are heading to God of War Ragnarok, with Thor even appearing in God of War's post-credits scene, but this pack-in bonus continues to cement Odin's involvement in the upcoming game, and may hint at one of his in-game abilities, that of multiplication. In Norse mythology, Draupnir is also crafted by Brock and Sindri, which might hint at the two blacksmith brothers having an even larger role in the sequel. Another physical bonus, Brock's dice set, also hint at this. This bundle includes a sleek set of 7 dice, each with a stylish metallic finish and blue accents. The dice also come in a high-quality bag that features the brothers' brand on the side. A cloth map of Yggdrasil is packaged in with the Jotnar edition of God of War Ragnarok, depicting each of the 9 realms branching off from the roots of the Yggdrasil, the sacred tree. While it already played quite a significant role in 2018's God of War, it seems pretty likely that Yggdrasil will once again take center stage in God of War Ragnarok, likely being the means by which Kratos and Atreus inevitably travel to Asgard and the other realms. The cloth map is the most interesting one from the Jotnar edition. It shows the concept of all the 9 realms hanging on the branches of the world tree, such as Helheim at the bottom with the eagle and a wolf in the picture. I wonder if it is Fenrir or some other hound that guards the gates of the city of Helheim. Above that we have Nibelheim with more places to explore on the realm, and above that is Muspelheim. We can see the fire giant Surtur there with his sword, and something interesting here is that Nibelheim and Muspelheim are somehow connected to each other, which looks like the heart of the world tree that connects them directly, unlike other realms. Above that we have Svartalfheim, the realm of the dwarfs, and we already had a good look at the dwarven realm, aka Nidavellir. It has some underground tunnels to explore, and Tyr might be likely imprisoned there. Above that we have our Midgard, which is the middle ground, which is frozen due to Fimbulwinter. Above that we have Vanaheim, where the Vanir gods live. Vanaheim looks beautiful with the huge trees and all that. Above that we have Alfheim, where the water ran dry due to the effects of Fimbulwinter, as it affects all different realms differently, which we can see in the previous announcement trailer. And above that we have Jotunheim, the realm of the good old giants, where we could meet Angerboda, as the vinyl record shows her and Atreus holding hands and happily wandering Jotunheim. And above all is the realm where the All-Father himself is residing in. You can recognize the Rainbow Bridge that is the main pathway to Asgard. You can also see a village near the fortified walls of Asgard. There are other important things to look forward to in the cloth map as well. We have Skoll and Hati, the wolves that chase the sun and moon, above Vanaheim, strangely. I'm curious why it is represented above a realm where Odin's trust is not that great, or maybe he could have struck a deal with Vanaheim like with the dwarfs or manipulated them. We have the great dragon Nidhogg at the bottom right corner, who eats the roots of the world tree. That boss fight is gonna be crazy. Then we can find another root of the world tree on the left corner of the map above Helheim, where Ratatoshka resides, and where the Norns, the Sisters of Fate, should be residing too. There is a secret compartment or place under the root. The words in the cloth map reads that, for Brock and Sindri and their ambitions to become the world's greatest blacksmiths, training in their dwarven home realm was only the beginning of their path. Sure, they created wonders like Draupnir and the Cloak of Feathers, but true genius requires a broad education. They sought it out in all 9 realms as well as the space in between the great world tree Yggdrasil, besting their previous creations with the hammer Mjolnir and the great Leviathan axe. None save the gods have been able to chart our strange geography, but among mortals few can boast the expertise enjoyed by the Huldra brothers, whose ability to navigate and traverse the realms rivals even that of Odin All-Father. Here we have to focus on the ring and Cloak of Feathers. In Ragnarok, the ring might be the catalyst for realm travel, and the cloak of feathers could come in handy too. I have a feeling that Kratos is going to get a pair of wings like Icarus's, and we gonna jump again. The words in the Steelbook edition reads that Twilight beckons. The bear and wolf travel the realms 9 hoping to stop that which seems inevitable. Their bond will be tested, yet they must hold together for the good of all. Both the Collector's Edition and the Jotnar edition of God of War Ragnarok come with two 2-inch wooden carvings of the Vanir twins. Reminiscent of Atreus wooden carvings of the Huldra brothers from 2018's God of War, these carvings depict the Vanir twins, likely to be Freyr and Freya. The Vanir were one of 2 original Norse tribes, representing nature and peace, while the other tribe, the Aesir, represented violence and chaos. In 2018's God of War, Mimir tells Atreus that the 2 tribes were constantly at war with one another, until eventually, Freya was married off to the Aesir's king, Odin. But as Odin grew more paranoid, he banished Freya to Midgard and waged war once again with the Vanir. They may only be collectible bonuses, but these carvings could suggest that Odin and Freya's relationship plays a central role in God of War Ragnarok's story. The final physical bonus that comes with both the Collector's and Jotnar edition of God of War Ragnarok is an impressive 16-inch replica of Mjolnir, Thor's iconic hammer. It's been known for a while now that Thor is acting as a primary antagonist of Ragnarok's story, so this pack-in doesn't confirm anything new, but it does give fans a closer look at the weapon teased in God of War's post-credits scene. The special editions of God of War Ragnarok also come with a variety of digital bonuses as well, which don't really offer too much information on the game. That being said, the Darkdale Blade's handle skin and the Darkdale Axe grip skin does suggest that we will have access to Kratos' Leviathan axe and Blades of Chaos throughout the journey.
Hey guys,
Fans have speculated that God of War Ragnarok will let Kratos wield Mjolnir, and the game's newly revealed Collector's Edition supports this idea. While the scale replica could simply reflect Thor's prominent role in the game, it seems strange to include a weapon that the game's protagonist never wields. For Mjolnir to have a big enough role in the game to warrant its inclusion in the Collector's Edition, it seems likely that Kratos will take the hammer and use it after defeating Thor in combat. The weapon would make a perfect addition to the Ghost of Sparta's arsenal in God of War Ragnarok, considering that it functions similarly to Leviathan while still having its own distinct abilities. New Norse weapons in God of War Ragnarok are almost a guarantee, and the Collector's Edition suggests Mjolnir will be one of them. God of War Ragnarok will finally see Kratos and Thor face off in combat, with the God of Thunder wielding his mighty hammer Mjolnir. However, the game's Collector's Edition suggests that the hammer will be more significant than a mere enemy weapon. Kratos will no doubt expand his arsenal in God of War Ragnarok, and Mjolnir has become the most likely weapon for the Ghost of Sparta to wield. God of War Ragnarok Standard Edition, Launch Edition, Digital Deluxe Edition, Collector's Edition, and Jotnar Edition have all been detailed intimately with regard to what each is composed of. Fans get an early look at a couple of the armor cosmetics players will be able to unlock early through some of these purchases, though they will also be accessible and unlockable throughout the game if those editions had not been purchased. Most editions come with a physical collectible or piece of memorabilia as well as some downloadable content, such as digital downloads for the game itself or God of War Ragnarok's official digital soundtrack. These editions also include steelbook display cases for the game. However, while many fans may instantly expect for these steelbooks to come with a hard physical copy of God of War Ragnarok, they would be disappointed to learn that they will not. Rather, the Collector's and Jotnar editions will strangely only offer digital downloads for God of War Ragnarok on PS4 and PS5, meaning that the steelbooks customers receive will be empty. The cases are then seemingly for display purposes only, unless fans decide to also procure physical copies of the game at some point to occupy them. But fans who believe that a physical copy would be attached to their steelbooks included in these editions will be sorely mistaken. The lack of a physical copy with a steelbook is easily the strangest choice made in terms of the content included in any of these editions. Of course, fans who typically opt for editions with more collectibles will be pleased to learn how many pieces of physical memorabilia are included in the Collector's and Jotnar editions. All the content in each of these editions represents something from the game, whether it is meant to be referential on the surface level or through a much more obscure cut that fans may not realize until they have played the game. Either way, the fact that God of War Ragnarok will feature two different Collector's Editions is a treat for fans who are devoted to the franchise and God of War's final Norse entry in particular. Still, the Steelbook decision is one that may upset fans based on traditional expectations of what a Steelbook entails. Big things appear to be awaiting Kratos and Atreus in God of War Ragnarok, one of the biggest being the pair's inevitable confrontation with the god of thunder himself, Thor. However, the father and son will find themselves set upon by dangers from all sides as the forces of Asgard bear down on Midgard in an attempt to halt the coming apocalypse. The most personal confrontation, though, will be the one with Freya, and we got a tease of this fight in a new piece of promotional art. As mentioned above, Freya is set on a path of revenge after Kratos was forced to kill her son Baldur at the climax of 2018's God of War. The first hints of this were given to players immediately after the end of the previous game, with some character interactions teasing Freya's anger and her preparations to fight the Ghost of Sparta. One of the more ominous warnings came from Mimir, who, following the Valkyrie quest and the reveal Freya was the former Valkyrie queen, says the Vanir god is searching for her Valkyrie wings that were taken and hidden by Odin. It appears this is just the tip of the iceberg, though, as Kratos and Atreus will encounter plenty of adversaries in their quest to halt Ragnarok. Thor appears to be bringing the full might of Asgard down on the two, and, given how violent and destructive the 2018 game teased him to be, Kratos may be in for the fight of his life. Sony Santa Monica also teased a giant wolf, suspected to be Fenrir, in the latest trailer, which has only led to more questions among players, and only time will tell if it will be friend or foe. I don't need to see anything more of Ragnarok, as the elements of surprises are always welcome, with us playing the game without major plot point releases and major spoilers. The Collector's Edition and Jotnar's Edition are great with amazing attention to detail with Mjolnir, the cloth map of Yggdrasil and the Knowledge Keeper's shrine itself. November can't come soon enough and we'll see how God of War Ragnarok ends up to be, and where it will take Kratos next. And that's all for the video guys, like and share the video for a greater audience. Comment your thoughts on the topics and donations are always appreciated. Subscribe to the channel and click the bell icon, and until then from SMPV, it's goodbye.